So today we're going to take a look at how we analyze data in Google Sheets. So you're in Google Classroom, you'll have these sheets here, a Google Sheet to fill out. The first two are note sheets, then there's a practice problem, and then you're going to be building in your own baseline data. So the one we're going to look at together is that I have an app that rates my sleep by percent, with 0 being good and 100 being bad. Find the average and create a bar graph of the data. So here's all the data listed. Monday I did almost 2 weeks. To find the average, what you can do is go to the bottom of this, and you guys know what average is. We add it all together and we divide by how many there are. But Google Sheets does it for you. Any command in Google Sheets, you can hit an equal sign. And then if you start typing in average, all these different ones come up and you just want average. And you'll notice that it's a parenthesis. And what you can do is you have to list the cell name. So this top one is in B9, or you can click on it, hit a colon, and then click on the last one you want. Oops, and that hit error. So let me try that again. Equals average, hit the top one. Oh, and then you have to have shift to hold down the bottom one. So you can see it right here, equals average, your first cell, colon, your last cell. Hit enter, so my average was 73.416. Now to create a bar graph, I'm going to highlight the data that I want. And there's a little graph insert chart button right here. So I'm going to click on that. And you'll notice here, all this stuff comes up, and I'm going to edit it here. So those 3 dots edit if this went away, and you'll notice I can pick different ones. Like, it doesn't make sense to be a bar graph because 9.1%, we're looking at the averages, a pie chart, excuse me. I could do a line graph here, which that might be good. It might show some trends. And then you can see there's these top 4 are usually the suggested ones. There's some other ones that work well if you have multiple data points here, but I would stick to a bar graph or a line graph. So I'm going to do a bar graph here, but you'll notice there's all this stuff here. So I'm going to want to rename these, and to rename them, hit on customize here. So chart style, you can switch some of this, the chart border, and it's kind of fun to mess around with some of that. So you could change the background. We could make a border color here. Chart axes and titles. So you'll notice here, it just took that one from above there because it's trying to look for a label. But this is percent, or we could say, is it a good night's sleep? And we could call the graph that. And you can notice here, format, we can make it bold. We can center it. So you really want to try and make that graph look nice. And then we can do the different ones. So we can add a subtitle, the horizontal axis. So down at the bottom, we want to switch that to days of the week. Okay, and then let's take our vertical. And this is our percent of good sleep. So as you can see, we can change a couple things and we can make it look a lot nicer here. And again, you can also see stuff down here. You could just change the horizontal. You can change the font. You can change the text color. Maybe not that one. But you can change all sorts of different things on here. So take some time and you'll want to mess around to make it a good looking graph. So the second thing, we're going to copy the data and find the 5-number summary on the next page. And the reason we can't do it on here is I've merged some cells together, so it doesn't work very well. So I'm going to just copy. So highlight that data, Control C, Command C copies it, go to Note Sheet 2 and paste it. And so if you guys remember, your 5-number summary is your minimum, Q1, your median, Q3, and your maximum. So, and actually I'm going to take these out before I write these in. One thing you can do is you can sort your data. So if you go to the top of the list here, And you'll notice I have it right on top. A little arrow is there. If we sort A to Z, you'll notice it puts it from minimum up to maximum. So I could identify my minimum, Q1, median, Q3, and maximum. So the minimum and max are really easy. So our minimum is 45. Our max is 90. So median, the one that's right in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if you remember how to find the median, is you start marking these off one on each side. So I'm just going to say, so a yellow one, yellow. It's a little easier to do this on pencil with a pencil and paper, but it'll work. So I'm marking off one on each side until we get to the middle. So I notice there's two right in the middle. So the middle is right in between 75 and 76. So our median right in the middle would be 75.5 because there's not one number that's right in the middle. So it's the average of the middle of those two. Now Q1 is the middle of the bottom half. So if I start looking at the bottom half, so I'm just going to highlight these. That's our bottom half of data. It's the middle of that. So if I look, there's 6. So if I start marking these off again, maybe blue, blue, blue. So the middle is right in between these. So I have to see what is 70 plus 65 divided by 2. And I believe if we do an equal sign, let's see, 75 plus 65 divided by 2. Oh, so that didn't work. So we might need to grab a calculator here. So again, if you don't have one on your phone, you could use it. We could go to Desmos. So 75 plus, 70 plus 65 divided by 2. So 67.5. And I think it should work on here. I think I did 70. So 70 plus 65 divided by 2. So 67.5 is the median, or is Q1. And then if I look at this, so the bottom half, well, you could say it's kind of the same. It's in the middle. It's 3 and 3. So we have 80 and 80. So the middle of that is 80. So what this means, now we need to try and interpret it, is our median is 50% of the data. So right down here, I could write a couple statements. So I'm going to merge these together. So if I go to Format, Merge All, I could write a couple statements. Another nice thing is to do on here, under text wrapping, hit wrap text, and then it'll stay in that box. I could say 50% of the time, Miss Husing's sleep rating was above 75.5. Because that's that middle number. And we could also say all sorts of different things here. We could also add, I could also say, well, quarter 1 is 25% of the data. So 25% is below, which means 75% is above. So I could say 75% of the time her rating was above 67.5. And if I think about that 80 right here, that's 75% of the data is below. So I could say 25% of the time her rating was above 80. So we can make a couple different statements about that. So what you're going to do now is on this next page, you are going to practice by finding the average and making a graph. And then on the last page, you're going to describe your baseline data that you've collected, make a chart, and make a graph next to it.